All right. Guess who? Father Mark Mary with
Brother Malachy, back in action.
We are the Franciscan Friars, the Renewal, and this is Ascension Presents. So part of kind of the work of the friars is the love and care of the world's most vulnerable. And there may be no one more vulnerable, right, than the child still in the womb. And so one of the works of the friars is our pro-life work is just praying and giving witness to the dignity of the child who's preborn, who's alive only in the womb. And Brother Malachy was just a part of a procession, a kind of a witness to life. And God did something pretty powerful in his heart, and he's going to share it with us.
We had the First Friday pro-life vigil down in SoHo in New York City at the original kind of ground zero Planned Parenthood in the United States. And about 150 people came together to pray and to bear witness to life outside of this clinic. And we began with Mass, and as I'm walking into Mass, the brother who leads it, Father Fidelis, one of our friars, asked me as I'm going through the door, would you be willing to carry the crucifix? And I said, sure, yeah. He's like, you need to be ready to kind of have some verbal abuse, though. There's going to be counter-protesters today. And I was like, okay. And so I went into Mass, and during Mass, I just was led by the Lord to just really pray and pray for those people who are going to be out there counter-protesting, pray for the mothers, pray for the unborn children, pray for the doctors. And as I was going up to receive the Eucharist, I just distinctly remember that the Spirit was leading me to just pray, Jesus, give me your heart for these people. Like, I want to love them like you love them. And received communion, Mass ended, and I went up and took the crucifix that was going to be used in the procession, and we began to walk out. And as we go out, we walked into probably the most angry and sort of aggressive group of counter-protesters I've ever been in the midst of. And I'm walking down the sidewalk, and literally surrounding me in the front, on the sides, are people just shouting, screaming, holding signs, and saying all sorts of things that were just insulting and vile and disrespectful. And, and for me, I mean, kind of like a part of my Georgia heart was stirred at that moment. And like praying for them was not the way I wanted to respond. Let's just say that. Like my natural reaction when people get in my face is I'm like, okay, really? Is that what you're going to do? Is that how it's going to be? And so I found myself at this moment, of just this experiencing anger in my heart in response to theirs. And then I'm holding the crucifix, and I just turned inward and remembered, that I just received you, Jesus, in the Eucharist. Like, give me the strength. Give me the strength to love them. And this grace came. And I know it wasn't me, because I know what my natural response is in those circumstances. And at that moment, walking with people on every side, screaming all sorts of profanities at me, I experienced this overwhelming peace interiorly, this ability to pray, and then all of a sudden this love in my heart for them. And I couldn't give an account for this. Like what was going on in me was just totally not me. Mm-hmm. And as we continued to process and got to the clinic and gathered on the sidewalk there, and they're on the other side just screaming an hour and a half straight. And we're sitting there and again, hearing all these things and these statements. And I'm sitting here holding the cross and just realizing at that moment, like, Jesus, like, teach me what it means to rest in that silence that you rested in the cross. Because the power of the world, the power of this age, the power of death was conquered by this powerlessness of the cross. And I was experiencing what the cross does. I was experiencing what Jesus in the Eucharist does, and my heart was changed. And I recognized the true enemy, and I recognized the love that God has for these people. And I knew that he was in me. And I knew that the response to the world, to all that is out there, the evil that's there, that conquers it is not violence. It's that silent suffering that Jesus endured for us. And there's a power that I experience in the Eucharist, to be able to share in that grace. And I know that it wasn't just for that moment. It wasn't just for this group of people. It wasn't just for a stand for life. But how many of you, brothers and sisters, are facing people in situations that you're like, I don't know if I can live this. I don't know if I can love this person. I don't know if I can endure this evil. And I just encourage you is like, when you go to receive the Eucharist next, like, ask the Lord, like, give me your heart. Help me to share in that strength and that power that you had when you, on that cross, silently accepted that suffering, knowing that the power of love was greater than the power of death. And it just proved to me yet again that, like, Jesus' call to us in the gospel, this radical call, is not some idealistic dream that we can't live. It's an invitation to allow Jesus to live in us and to witness that presence in us transforms us and makes us new and gives us this power to do what we're not capable of in ourselves. I mean, that's the good news of Jesus Christ.
There's a battle going on, and it's a battle over hearts, and the Lord wants to conquer hearts, and the starting point is our own hearts.
Amen.
And the gift of our faith is that the Lord gives us his own heart in the Holy Eucharist, and can truly, really, as you shared, just transform our own hearts. So brothers and sisters, we invite you to, when you receive communion, to ask the Lord to make your heart like unto his, meek and humble, but strong and transformative. You can let us know what the Lord is doing in the comments below. As always, please keep us in your prayers. We'll be praying for you, and we'll see you again next week. Goodbye.
God bless.